Kia ora, ko Jamie Allen tōku ingoa, Pōtiaki o Waimanako me Taranaki Retreat. I'm one of the founders of this beautiful community organisation that supports whānau and individuals. Taranaki Retreat emerged in 2014. A community trust was formed from a whole collective of people who'd experienced what it was to go through suffering, suicidal distress, and not to be able to access support when it was needed. We saw two things were needed. One, a peer-centred approach would make all the difference. So supporting people with those who'd walked a similar journey and had some understanding, that raw empathy that comes through having been through something similar yourself, brings in that hope that maybe I can get through this too, takes away the fear of, is this person judging me? And removes that sort of sense of stigma for accessing help. The other thing we felt was really necessary was there was a physical place to go, somewhere where you could get away from situational stressors, where there would not be barriers such as referral requirements through a GP, particularly where there would be no money changing hands, a cost to access that support. For us personally as a whānau, we'd had a rough journey. One of our children, Carrie, had been suddenly diagnosed with this really aggressive soft tissue cancer, just coming up to 10 years old. She had this really quite terrible battle through that. Surgery, chemo, radiation. Didn't make it out the other side ultimately. We thought she'd beaten that, we'd beaten that, but it came back a lot worse. I guess experiencing that loss of a child, what it was to love someone that insanely hugely, and to be completely and utterly powerless to really protect them, was a big game changer for us. We saw a lot, we understood a lot. We spent a lot of time at Ronald McDonald House in Auckland, which was great. We saw the strength that came from having a place to be. And we saw that there was this huge amount of help and support when your child is physically sick. But if it's a different matter, your child is dealing with poor mental health, or they're self-harming, or there's addictions, or their anxiety is just too massive to make it into school, that kind of support where you can connect up residentially as parents or as people going through it, and just know that A, you're not alone in this, and B, how do you get through this? What do you do? How are you coping? We then sold up what we had and found some other like-minded people who had a similar passion, formed up the trust, found this paddock and fundraised and built and fundraised and built, and then went live with the kaupapa. Everybody gave, everybody built, everybody dug holes and planted trees, everybody knitted blankets. It's this whole kind of collective place of that aroha and compassion. It became a bit of a busy hub, and there were people arriving all the time, often in distress. What we were learning at the time was that so often trauma had been part of people's story. So that's when we became aware that we needed some kind of an outpost that would enable that to happen, that there was somewhere you could call in at any time and talk to somebody. So that's where we established our support drop-in hub called Waimanako, and it's right in the centre of the CBDs. There's a koha cafe, which is a really beautiful concept. So you pay what you feel. Over half the meals are just given away for free, where people can't afford to pay right now. But they know that one day they'll come back and they will koha. That's the concept. There's no strings.
Kia ora, so my name's Tashi. I am the sous chef at Waimanako Cafe. The kaupapa behind this place is pretty close to my heart. 9 years ago, I lost my 15-year-old son to suicide. Jamie and Susie have been my support for the last 9 years, and I saw the job advertised and I took it, and I've been here a year now. I like to help people, so my way of helping people is I can cook them a yummy kai, and I get to know that, you know, their bellies are full and it's going to hold them for that little bit. The need for what we do is huge. Like I met 20 people when I first started, and it's grown to probably now 80, you know, and they're coming in every day.
Most of all, I just yearn to be able to sustain it, to be able to fund it, to be able to keep the lights turned on. We have a volunteer team of over 100 people. We have a staff team of around 25 people. All that is just an incredible mission to fund, and every year it looks like we're not going to be able to manage to sustain that. I yearn for a future without suicide. Suicide is preventable, and it is a massive heartache in our community. I have a fire in my belly to change that up so that we are working together for a future without suicide, that is a national top priority for us to achieve, that we focus our future on how we can make it possible for us all to thrive and get through this together.